Over the last several years, coaching businesses have skyrocketed. Following COVID, we've seen a huge uptick in people's desire to have a more fulfilling, purposeful, and meaningful career. We've seen the desire and need to have a more flexible schedule. And most recently, we are seeing now how essential it is to bring in more income to our households, income that we really have control over. So, with coaches popping up all over the world, why are we opening up another coaching school? Well, it's really simple. The number of coaches may have increased significantly, but there's a difference between just becoming another coach and becoming a master in your field. The benefit from learning in the right place from the right teacher is the difference between becoming an expert and just becoming another coach. Today, Sarah Chana is going to be talking about the contents and goals of the program and how the training can be employed in a variety of professional contexts or as a fulfilling standalone career opportunity. You'll learn why becoming a Radcliffe parenting coach will give you a clear advantage in the demanding and exciting field of parent and family life education. Whether you're a licensed professional wanting to be able to offer more value to the population you serve, or you're someone who's always yearned for a career in the helping professions, but didn't know how to get started, you will discover how the Sarah Chana Radcliffe Academy can help you achieve your goals. Plus, we'll have ample time to get your questions answered from Sarah Chana, and of course, for attending today, there is a huge incentive for brand new students. So listen up for exciting discounts, bonuses, and everything that's included in this unique program. Before we get started, I'd be remiss to not send our prayers and support to Eretz Yisrael right now. It is a difficult time for our nation and was a hard decision to continue with today's open house as so many of our community members and Jewish Workshops team members are in Israel right now. But we couldn't let our enemies win and dictate when is the right time to enhance your career and personal ambition. Please know, however, that your safety is the most important, and chas v'shalom, a siren goes off during today's session. We understand that you may miss some of the important details. God willing, there will be a recording sent out tomorrow, and we will make sure any questions you have get answered offline. I'd also like to personally thank Hannah and Sephora from our team who are on the line with us right now in Yerushalayim and in Tel Aviv. Your commitment and support are so appreciated. And if you need to jump off, I obviously completely understand. Please make sure that you and your families are in your shelters. And if anyone is waiting to hear from Hannah or Tzipora after the class, please be patient and know that if a call does not come in tonight, it will come in tomorrow. Now, I would love to see who's joining us and where you're from. So please go to your Q&A box and write your first name and where you're joining us from. And I'd also love a little bit more information about your background. So if you can put your first name, where you're joining us from, and then just a quick me if this is the first training you've ever taken for becoming a coach or parenting education. Let me see. It should be your chat box, sorry. And I know people are here, so come on over and let me know. There we go. Hello. Chava from Brooklyn. And it's your first time. Wonderful. Let me see if anybody else is coming on here to share a little bit. I'll give you a few minutes. Welcome, Aliza, first time. Welcome, Leah from Montreal, first time. Wonderful. Hi, Sippy from Lakewood. Hindi from Yerushalayim, welcome. You're a trained parenting counselor for over 15 years. That's amazing. Welcome, Sarah, first coaching, been a principal for many years. That is fantastic. Definitely in the education field. Welcome, Etty from Philadelphia. An LCSW, first time for coaching program. Welcome. Bina from New Jersey, first time. Welcome. Sherry Ann from South Africa. Welcome, Leah from Chicago, also your first time. This is great. Elizabeth from London, first timer. Nachama from Israel, welcome, first time. Ani from Muncie, welcome, also first time. I'm a BCBA who's looking to enhance parent training. That is absolutely fantastic. I actually know several BCBAs, and this is the perfect training, so I'm so glad to see you here. Welcome, Tippy. I've taken a life coaching course in the past. Absolutely great. Welcome, Ellie from Brooklyn, also first time in your education field. Wonderful to see all of you, and I'm sure more people will continue on. I don't want to hold anyone else up, and Sarah Chana has so much to cover today. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Sarah Chana Radcliffe, which I'm sure most people know, but let me just give a little brief intro. Sarah Chana is an internationally acclaimed psychologist, author, speaker, course creator, teacher, columnist, podcaster, and overall scholar. As a practitioner for over 40 years specializing in parenting, marriage, and personal well-being, Sarah Chana has accomplished a tremendous amount, and her work impacts millions. She has written 10 books and is a registered member of the College of Psychologists of Ontario, practicing marriage, parenting, and individual counseling. Sarah Chana, we are so happy to have you here for this monumental open house. I am going to go ahead and turn the floor over to you.
Thank you so much. Wow, it is amazing to hear that to everybody's on the line from all over the world. That is beautiful, just a beautiful thing. And we're looking today at what it would mean if you guys decided to invest in a career and training in becoming a certified parenting coach. And some of you have some experience in this, and many of you, this is your first time, as you said, kind of looking at this sort of thing. And you're going to find that it will work both ways, okay? Whether you are already a mental health professional or a doctor or a teacher or coach of some kind, or whether you have been a homemaker, you're a student just graduating from some, program, and you want to define a career, it really has, this career has the potential to morph itself into whatever you want it to be. And I'm actually going to show you during this session why that is and, how it would happen that way for you. It's going to be great for anybody and everybody. So a certified parenting coach is somebody who has actually studied the field of parenting. And I say that trepidatiously because there is no field of parenting officially, okay? We have psychology, we have mental health, we have counseling, we have psychotherapy, we have nursing and medicine and pediatrics. We have a lot of things, but there is no official field called parenting. And the people that we might ask parenting questions to might be members of these other professions, might be a nurse, might be a teacher, a school principal, might be a doctor, certainly a pediatrician. We might ask all these people, a psychiatrist, a regular psychologist. We might ask these people parenting questions, but the very interesting thing is that for 99.9% of them, the little 1% is now the other three cohorts that we've had here, but very few people have any training in a field called parenting. It is a new emerging field of study. There are some university courses that include something now. Only recently I've seen it in the last couple of years, maybe a course on parenting. But what you're going to receive in this extensive 9-month course backed up with 5 years of materials that are going to be part of your course, so it's more than the 9 months, this will transform you into a rare expert on parenting in today's world. And that's going to make it possible for you to have a truly successful career. We're all reading books. Everybody's read books, magazine articles. Everybody can read them, listen to podcasts, and get little snippets of the latest and greatest on what people are thinking about in today's parenting. But a lot of the people who are teaching about today's parenting are moms, let's say, who have had some experience with their 3 kids and they've read a couple of books and they make a podcast. I mean, it's not going to be like that, okay? This is a course that's grounded in my 50 years of working with parents. That includes, it's resting on academic psychological theories that I will be sharing with you, and the practical behavioral application of those theories, and rooted in Torah psychology, which is the most brilliant psychology that there is. So becoming a Radcliffe certified parenting coach is going to be a professional designation that will enable you to work with people individually or to implement parenting programs and interventions that solve parenting programs for individuals, for schools, for communities, for however you want to take it forward. And again, we'll talk about those possibilities. And write down your questions as we're speaking now, because I'm going to give you an overview. And then really, we're here today at this open house to answer your questions. So make sure you've got them in writing and you can write down the answers as well. So the kinds of things that we will be working with specifically are parent-child relationship problems, behavioral problems in toddlers, school-age children, teenagers, maybe we'll call it behavior problems, but problems with adult children, which could be behavioral problems, helping with school-related issues, issues with not just behavior, but mental, emotional well-being, and things like, anger management, dealing with certain kinds of anxieties and handling traumatic events, the things that parents have to negotiate with their kids, and the things that will make a difference on how the parents negotiate with their kids around these in terms of the lifelong developmental journey of these children. I mean, we'll get into it, but okay. And we'll also help parents navigate, to a certain extent, their own parenting stress, which will be greatly reduced by having come in contact with you. Because when you really show them what they can do and what they need to do, you're going to help them establish their boundaries, their routines, their structure with a perspective in mind that will make them independent of you, so that they understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how to do it without you. Okay, we want to help as many people as possible and move on to the next and get people independently functioning. So we don't help the way, let's say, a life coach might help. We're not trying to help parents feel or find their own authentic parenting voice, for example. We're coming at it this way more as an expert, just like if you were to go to your accountant or your lawyer with a problem. You're not looking for that professional to help you discover your own accounting or legal solutions. You're actually looking for information, advice, and practical help. Okay, like they're going to do something for you, and that's going to be your relationship as a Radcliffe parenting coach. So even though the word coach is in here, we're not in the life coach model. We're not empowering parents in that way, although parents will be empowered when they leave our offices, but not in the way that we're asking them to find solutions. You're going to have real information, real guidance, something new, something worth their time and money. You'll perhaps have met people in the coaching profession who have a lot of trouble actually making a living at that profession. And I think that although some really do take off when they find their specialty and their niche, and they have, especially if they have a practical angle, like being a business coach, or something that really can do something practical for people. But the life coach people, I've come across many in my own career, stopping by my office here, who have difficulty making a living, and often that's because their service isn't worth the money they're charging. And you're not actually going to have that problem as a certified Radcliffe parenting coach. That won't be it, because you will be offering something of real value. They'll want to pay you, they'll be happy to pay you, and you'll be able not only to have such a satisfying and meaningful and fulfilling career, because helping people, feels that way. So it feels great to people. The helper gets the helper's high. Okay, it's rewarding work. But it also is work that a lot of us are doing, not just as a hobby or because, just for fun. We don't really need the money, but we actually need to sustain ourselves and our families. So we want a serious career. So it's, when we're going to have any other career, we do expect to be paid for it. And that's part of this. Our orientation is professional. You are going to be offering a professional service that is worth the money that you're charging for it. And so it will both sustain you on your financial goals, and it will be a satisfying, meaningful career that's going to help a lot of your clients. So that's going to be, win-win. Let's just say it that way. And you're going to have an easy time finding how to make this work for you because like I said, the people that we're now consulting for our parenting questions, even let's say registered psychologists, well, if registered psychologists haven't studied parenting, then they just know as much about parenting probably as you do, or but anybody. They may have, they know about psychology, but psychology is not parenting. Parenting is its own field. It used to be, that when somebody had problems putting their kid to sleep or I don't know, getting them to bed at night, let's say, or getting them up in the morning, if you came as a parent in the old decades ago and you spoke about this sort of thing, you'd end up in psychotherapy or family therapy, trying to get to the root cause of the dysfunction in your home. Really, what we need is somebody who knows how to get a kid to bed. And not just from their personal experience, how they got their own kids to bed, or how or one book they read about how to get a kid to bed, but really how to get any kid to bed, to know about it broadly, to know what's working, why it works, what the parents need to do to help, what the limits of what the parents are. Like to have a full scale knowledge. Okay, so like I said, your pediatrician knows about sore throats, infections, illnesses, diseases, and has seen a lot of kids in his office or, her office, but that doesn't make your pediatrician a parenting coach. And if you are a pediatrician, that's fantastic because a lot of people ask their pediatrician serious parenting questions, and really the pediatrician probably is not going to sit down for a 50-minute consultation with their patients for 3 or 4 months in a row, or sometimes for a year with a very serious case, or even for 2 times to give them a parenting program. But you might be working in your pediatrician's office doing that for your pediatrician. When a person has difficulty with their child's behavior, well, your pediatrician is fixing their illnesses, okay? So like probably, but for the simple questions even, it's really good if a pediatrician can answer some things thoughtfully with knowledge and know when to refer on. And you, as a parenting coach, are also going to learn when to refer on, what the limits of what a parenting coach does. So, where to cut off the line of when a child needs psychotherapy, when the parent needs psychotherapy, when the couple or the family actually needs help. You're going to know all these things, and you're going to be able to, as a result, help people without hurting them. So we know that all the helping professions actually have the power and potential to cause great harm. So in this course, it's designed to prevent that harm. So that on the one hand, while we're going to know exactly what we have over all the other professionals in the world, we're also going to know the limits, the scope of our professional practice, and make sure that we're not pretending to know things that we don't know, exceeding the limits of what the training is, and so on. Although many people who take this training may actually be interested after they take the training to get more training later on in perhaps in counseling, psychotherapy, marriage counseling, family counseling. They might go that route. Or like I said, counselors who are already counseling may want to take parenting education in order to have this part of their practice where, yes, these are the people who are sitting down week after week to help people achieve a particular mental health or relationship health or personal health agenda, right? It does take some time, not years, but some weeks or some months. And those who are already in the helping professions can find this to become their specialty, so that they might want to do that. So, yeah, and the next time you're asking anybody a parenting question, you should try to ask them also where they got their parenting training from. What's their answer based on, but you're going to have, my answer is based on, intensive training. So yeah, we're going to have answers here. We're going to be able to say, well, what do you do with a child who argues about everything? What do you do with a toddler who wakes up the house at 4 a.m.? What do you do with a teenager that refuses to keep a room clean or take a shower or respect your curfew? Or a child who's veering away from your values? Kids who don't listen, don't eat properly, are excessively shy, or too attached, too anxious, won't separate. too wild, jealous of their siblings, talk back, you know. And like I said, although there are books that answer this, the answer that you read in a book may or may not work for you and your child as one person reading the book. And as a person, a professionally trained parenting coach, you will have the broad picture here so that you'll be able to give anybody who walks into your office an answer that will help them. That's, I mean, up to the limits, nobody can do everything, but in general, you're going to know, what we can and what we can't do, what the parent can and can't do, not from one person's book and not from even one person's, or not one person, but one philosophy of parenting. Like there are things, that are, there are parenting philosophies out there which will work for some people and will not work for other people. You're going to know enough so that you can be able to help the largest possible group of people. So being effective has another benefit besides the fact that that will allow you to succeed in business. That is, if you want to be in private practice, in your own business, or to be successful as a paid person who's been hired by somebody else's business, whether that's in a school or in a mental health clinic, a social services family clinic, or whatever kind of place you find yourself. So you want to be successful, right? You want to really help the people who come, but you also want to avoid the thing that mental health professionals who are not so well trained and coaches suffer from. That is, people helpers. People helpers have a high risk of a syndrome called burnout. And the reason they have that is because while they're trying to help, they're often unable to help. And this causes a mental strain, an emotional strain, that after a person's been trying to help and not succeeding in a large way for a long time, they become kind of depressed, unmotivated, literally burned out. Okay, that is a side effect that happens in a lot of careers where the person is giving. The way we're going to design your role, your course very carefully, so that you won't be suffering from burnout for a number of reasons. In fact, you're going to be, I think, very enthused. You're going to be very happy. You're going to be recharged by your profession. You're going to continuously want to be learning, growing, and adding to your skill set because success breeds success, okay? You are going to be able really to help people. So that's the biggest cause of burnout, that being ineffective is a drain that we're trying so hard. And it makes you feel like, oh, what's the point? Like if you can't help them, but you're not going to have that because you're going to see the help that you're giving. And when you can make a difference that makes you feel like you want to know more, grow more, do more, the feeling of accomplishment, of satisfaction, and you're doing success, meaning, purpose, will change your life as well as the life of your clients. I mean, a lot of the things we do are meaningful and fulfilling within our families, within our communities, but this is just more. It's just, a lot of what's wrong in people's lives starts in childhood. And that was really what motivated me to really get into parenting because although psychotherapy, which is a profession that I eventually came to myself as a psychologist, I was doing parenting first, actually, was one of those people. But you can kind of, it's like renovating a house, right? Like you have the house, and you take off the old coat of paint and you put on a new coat of paint. That's psychotherapy. Like the structure, the underlying structure of the house, unless you knock down the whole thing and literally start all over again, which we can't do with human beings. There's always, it's never quite as good as starting from the beginning. If you want a nice house, start from the beginning and build it properly. Now, although parents don't have ultimate control over the house that's called their child, the parenting part of the picture is something that when you help parents do it as the child is still under their care, that is a very, very powerful thing to do to help prevent so much suffering. And it's very gratifying to know that you're doing that. Okay, so you're going to leave the training with confidence that you can be helpful, with clarity about what you can and can't do. And you're also going to be, as part of this training, knowing how to get started in your career and build your practice. We support you at the, in the training and after the training, and it's very comprehensive. You will have what it takes to have a viable career as a parenting coach when you leave. We won't leave you all stranded, like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get a client, those kinds of things. So, and then you can take this, you may have a special interest in a special group that you might want to help, like parents, anxious parents, or parents with anxious children, ADHD parents, or parents with ADHD children, or parents with explosive children, parents with mental health challenges. You may want to deal with separating and divorced parents, blended families. Use your imagination, but there's a lot out there for what we call niche practice. And that's also an exciting part. It's like, what are you interested in? Anything you're interested in, really, is open for you to develop and to become the expert, because this is such a brand new field. If you come with the parenting knowledge, the parenting structure, you're so far ahead of everybody else. Okay, that when you write your book, or when you do your blog or your podcast or whatever it is with your credentials, you will be making a trustworthy, significant contribution. So, yeah, let me just see here if I want to add things now or give you a chance right here to begin to ask some of your questions. Let me just see. Yeah. I don't know. Jillian, can we open it up a little bit and see what's coming up in people's minds?
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone has some things on their minds or questions, you can put them in here. We did have some questions come in ahead of time, so I'm also going to address those. But if anyone has anything on their mind right now, please feel free to go ahead and put it right in the chat. We are in a webinar setting for Zoom. I didn't mention this in the beginning. So your questions are anonymous. So if there's anything personal you want to add in there, please don't worry about that. You won't be able to see anyone else or see anyone else's questions, but I'm happy to read them aloud. And again, keep people anonymous as they choose. Let me see what the questions that came in ahead of time. How will I break into the field and get my name out there, especially if I'm an introverted personality and I'm afraid word of mouth won't be enough?
Yes, word of mouth was one of the things I actually wanted to mention, because word of mouth actually is enough. Okay, word of mouth is the most solid basis for your practice. So people tell people, tell people, tell people, and they tell some of these people end up being their doctors, their pediatricians, and they'll say, I went to a parenting coach and she really helped me with whatever it is. And the pediatrician might say, "Oh, who was that?" And you say, "Oh, here's her card." Make sure you take her card if she has one. Or here's her name, so you just whatever, and her contact info. Next thing you know, the pediatrician is filling up her practice with all of the clients that the pediatrician knows needs help. Just for example, okay. But word of mouth is the way to build a practice. I'm a really introverted person, okay? So like, I know I'm out there writing, talking, teaching today and all this stuff. I've gotten a little bit more relaxed, let's say, over all those decades. But at the beginning of my career in parenting coaching, I certainly had an extremely shy, introverted personality. Okay, but that doesn't matter, because when you can help somebody, they tell their friends, who tells their friends, who tells all their friends, whatever. It doesn't matter. Maybe the question is, how can I get my first client? Okay, but we have lots of answers for that in the course. And if you like to work privately in a little corner of your home, or if eventually want to work in an office space outside your home. It's funny because at first, nobody used to work at home, right? Although even in those years, I did work at home when my kids were little, and I made a space in the early years. And then as my practice grew and the kids were in school all day, I moved out into an office. Now everybody wants to move back home since COVID. I don't know if people don't like offices, but um, the possibilities are very open these days because people are providing help over Zoom now. That wasn't a thing when I started. And help over telephone, that was a thing. I did telephone counseling all around the world right from the beginning of my career because people over there in whatever faraway countries, okay, they have kids and, they're over there and they want help. So you can help people all over the world on a phone, and you don't have to be a big extrovert to get on a phone call, generally speaking. When you know what you're trying to do with the person, they're presenting a problem. Hello, I have this kid who, I don't know, she's fighting with all the other siblings. She's screaming and crying and doesn't listen to me, and the whole house is kind of upset by her, and I just don't know where to begin. And you know the answer. You know where she needs to start. You know the next step she needs to take. You know how to get that kid from point A to point B to point C to point D. You have the map in your head, and all you're doing is you're sharing that. Okay. Um, this very satisfied customer who, in the end, has a kid who she's getting along with so much better, and the child is so much more functional and so much happier in herself. Believe me, she'll be telling her people wherever she is, and they'll be calling you too. Like, and you don't need to be an extrovert for this. Now, what I would end up doing, I use my own example because I think I'm a good worst case scenario. Okay? A lot of you will be a lot better off than I was, in building a business like this. Um, as an introvert, I would do one-on-one work, but eventually people would ask me, could you teach this to me and another friend or me and a group of friends or whatever it is? Or, somehow I can't remember how it progressed. Maybe because I was writing. That was the other thing. As an introvert, it's easy to write. And also in those days, there was no internet. Okay, that came later. But now everybody can write on the internet. So we can all sit in the little corner of our room all by ourselves, now with the help of ChatGPT, in case we're not a writer, okay? I happen to have been a skilled writer, but nowadays everybody's a skilled writer. Just ask the computer to rewrite it for you, okay? So now you're writing, and people are reading on LinkedIn, or like you may have to learn a little bit about social media to advertise that way if you want, or just WhatsApp, posts, or just on a personal website, or maybe you don't want to do it with internet. You want to do it the way I did it when there was no internet, and you'll write an article for a local paper distribution that's advertising, local stores or something, little magazine. And there's your name in the article. And all of a sudden people are calling you. And then somebody will call you, can you run a group? Okay. So the group was the nightmare for me because I had, like a lot of people, public speaking phobia. So, you say, well, how are you going to get clients? Well, go out there, and speak and do all this. And for us very shy, introverted people, that could be very difficult. But I did have something to say, and even though I was shy and introverted, and maybe wasn't the greatest speaker even, I'd get out and just say what I had to say. And that was enough because the material kind of sells itself. And then that was really a very big, important way for me to build up a practice because whatever, group of people I would speak for, a lot of those people would call for private consultations after, and then they would tell their friends, and there's the word of mouth thing that happens. Now, I did suffer, I have to say. This is my public speaking phobia. However, eventually psychology moved along and I learned things like EFT, the tapping thing, about 25 years of speaking with phobia, and then cured from that phobia. And then I enjoyed the speaking a lot more for the next 25 years, right? But look, as I said, I'm a worst case scenario. I would pretty well say that if I could do this, build a gigantic, always filled practice, from the time I started, okay, if I wanted to work 35 hours a week of private clients, I was doing that before I became a licensed psychologist. I was doing that as a parent educator when there were no parent educators. And I continue to have as many clients as my eyes will stay open for a day. Okay, like in other words, there's no, I think the material sells itself. Think how many parents there are in the world, how much parents struggle and suffer from dealing with kids, they talk about burnout, okay? Like you're living with a kid you can't manage, or a very big challenging thing. Parents need your help. And so you're going to go out there and help them. And it won't be difficult. It'll even no matter what kind of personality you have, and no matter what kind of experience you have or haven't got, you're going to be able to do this. Other people who could do it, like if somebody is a babysitter or a nanny, you could take this course and then give this course to the babysitters and nannies. I mean, I think I could sit here and think all day of like who could help who with this, right? Everybody really needs to know this material. And you might even find that the material we're learning works for some other population to a certain extent other than children, okay? But you may want to you may become the specialist with in-law issues, in-law children. I mean, yeah, we could have fun thinking of what you could do.
The sky's the limit.
Yes, yes. Do you have more questions?
Thank you so much. Yeah, we have some really great questions coming in. A lot of people are asking about the structure of the course and how it's delivered. I want to answer all of those questions and more. But I just want to take a real quick break. We have somebody who is a graduate of Sarah Chana's first cohort, Nechama, here. And I would love to just get her on the line because something that came in ahead of time was, can we hear from people who have already been in the course? Can we hear from someone who's graduated? Are they successful? Does this work? So I'm going to let Nechama come on here and talk for a few minutes before we continue on with questions. But we do have some great questions. I see them all coming in. So please know that they will be answered. And let me go ahead and get Nechama back over here.
Fantastic.
Okay, great. Nechama, I think we're still on mute. Okay, great.
Sorry about that.
There you go. Thank you so much for being here.
So it's interesting. I always love to share this, that I reached out to Sarah Chana years ago. I think could be 12 or for sure over 10 years ago, asking if she would mentor me. And I was a pediatric occupational therapist now at this point for 23 years. But anything I read by Sarah Chana always resonated with me, and I immediately put it to use with the families that I was working with. Also my own. So I'd say, my oldest is 19. I think I definitely can say that I applied her lessons in my own. And I just wanted to know that I was giving over what she was teaching authentically. And then when I saw or got information about this cohort, I jumped at it, and I already was working as a parent coach. I learned so much more. And so if you have a lot of background, you will still get even more. And if you don't have a lot of background, this is going to be the best background to have, because it is so deep, it is so rich, and you will definitely walk away with it enhancing your life individually, but also you will have clear direction how to help families. It's not fluff. It's very practical. It's very, there are a lot of coaches out there that are very fluffy and they talk ambiguously, and the people can't apply. They come out of there and they're like, wow, but they can't apply it immediately. And everything Sarah Chana has, you will be able to apply immediately. So was there any specific questions you want me to address or?
Can you talk a little bit just about the time commitment? Because I know that that's something that always comes up from people as well. Did you find that it was manageable?
I think it was totally manageable. Yeah. It's not going to take over your life. It's going to enrich your life, and on many levels. And it's something, you could find the day of the week that works for you. You could, it's really nice. You don't have to, she also gives a nice outline, and I refer back to those outlines and my notes even now. And it's very easy to do the test questions. If you get something wrong, I don't know if that's changed since I've been there. It will tell you to repeat the test. So it's not a crazy amount of questions, but that means you're going to walk out of there really knowing the answers. It's not just pass, fail. No, you have to get it perfect. I know. Is that consistent?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And, oh, sorry. Yeah. No, somebody was just asking, can it be done alongside a full-time job and family responsibilities?
100%.
Perfect. Okay, great. I don't know, is there anything else that you wanted to add, or We always
I just
appreciate
think
hearing from
having
you.
I loved the monthly access to Sarah Chana that we were able to ask our questions. It was also nice that she didn't just go over the material that was covered. She also brought up different topics. And so that was also a great springboard, I mean, and listen, it's just the beginning. There is so much to know. Like, I put in my request for some things to advance, like advanced parent coaching topics or something like that. And I hope we were able to do that some more. But this is definitely going to be solid. You're going to walk away with solid information that you could help teach people immediately. And there's enough time to go through it. It's 9 months where you're going to be able to ask your questions. And also you have access to Sarah Chana's library of all the classes that she's done. That is huge, huge. Like, you're not going to be able most likely to watch them all while you're doing your 9-month coursework, but you have access to that. And now you could just pick and you see what interests you and you could develop it. And I've used her stuff also, combined with my OT stuff, but to make my own webinars and my own Zooms. And they give you a lot of support in starting your business, but that you will feel competent. That's the main thing. Like, you're not going to have that imposter syndrome that other programs sometimes, you may be left with. You might have a little bit because that's normal, but at the same time, you're going to feel really educated.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And if anybody wants to reach out personally, can we pass along
absolutely.
your email address? Offside. Okay,
yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Good luck, everybody, and great seeing.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say here, Julia, that Nahama's experience as a professional parent educator to begin with has, that very special angle that she benefited, even though she was already a professional that was already helping people. But I want to say that even people who've had no previous work experience, whatever, will be able to do this. And we've had people in the classes in the previous cohorts who have not been working successfully start getting their own clients. They graduate, and the next month they're already either teaching a course or they're working individually or both. So we've got to get some of those people on too sometime too at these open houses to say, like, well, how did it work? How long did it take? To develop a full private practice of any kind of private practice takes time, but to get started right away, that's what you can do. So yeah.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and get some more of these details out because people are anxiously awaiting the full details of the program itself. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some more details right here. The full program, as we've mentioned several times, is a full 9-month program. And it's really going to break down all of the foundational skills that you need. We'll go month by month quickly here, but it's going to also all be on the page when you go to look at it to register. General principles of working with parents will be month 1. Foundational parenting skills. These are a lot of Sarah Chana's specific methodologies, again, that you're going to be learning as a Radcliffe parenting coach. So if you've read some of her books or listened to her classes, she talks often about the 80-20 rule, the 50-50 rule, the 90-10 rule. You'll learn all about those in part 1, which is month 2. Then month 3, we'll move on to parenting skills part 2, the clear method, the better behavior now approach, the relationship rule. Month 4, we'll touch on the 2-time rule. All of these things, again, are real foundational skills that you'll need in order to become a successful coach. Month 5, we're going to start tackling mental health issues, identification, and interventions. Month 6 is raising teens. You'll notice an entire month just on teens. They're kind of their own jungle out there. Month 7, sibling issues. And I saw that somebody had actually had a question about that. So we'll get into that soon too. Month 8 will be marital challenges in parenting. And then month 9, applied strategies for issues in parenting, behavioral interventions, trauma, personality conditions. This course is unique to many that we offer because each week you will receive a new class in your membership area, giving you the opportunity to listen at your convenience and at your own pace, rather than trying to schedule a specific day and time into your calendar. All of the modules are pre-recorded. Sarah Chana spent months putting all of that together for us. So you will receive one module each week. Plus, you'll get corresponding outlines with each module to help you follow along. You'll also have short quizzes to make sure you fully understand the material after each session. And so many have shared that their schedules are packed. You know, people obviously have family responsibilities, they have jobs. So now you don't have to attend on a certain day at a certain time. You will have 24/6 access to each class to watch, take notes, practice, and all at a time that's comfortable for you. Just give me 1 second. So I'm just seeing Rachel, I see your question here. Rachel just asked, what if I have questions after I watch the modules? How will I know? How do I know if I'm proceeding or processing the information the right way? If they're pre-recorded. So that's a great question. For all of our students, there will also be a community forum to send in questions, create conversations, build dialogue with classmates. We have an expert as well, like a teacher's assistant on the forum who will also be able to help answer questions and help with any of the dialogue that's being started over there. And one of Sarah Chana's, like I said, one of Sarah Chana's master trainers has graciously agreed to step in and moderate that for you. So again, making sure that all your questions are answered in a timely fashion and while you're taking the classes. Plus, in addition to that, yeah.
On every week's module, we ask people to, it's not just the short quizzes, but they have to summarize the module and put in their questions. And I answer all those questions every week, and they receive all those questions from their cohort, plus all the questions and answers from all the previous cohorts. So they have everybody's questions and answers, my answers on everything, plus the live opportunity once a month. Like this is, they have a lot of feedback so that they'll know whether they're understanding, whether they're progressing, whether they've got the material or not. When I look over their homework assignment, which is to summarize the material, and I spot something which shows me this person doesn't really understand, we go back to that person and ask them to listen, to redo it, to pay particular attention to something. We're involved all the way along. So yeah, I would just say that.
Yes. Yeah, no, thank you. I was just going to say, in addition to getting all those questions answered through the forum, you'll also have live monthly sessions with Sarah Chana. They happen every 4 weeks, approximately 2-hour Q&A and implementation sessions. So again, another opportunity to get questions answered, but even more importantly, an opportunity to break out and use these as practice sessions. So, Sarah Chana, if you actually could just shed a little bit of light on what those practice sessions look like. I know that people will be interested in that as well.
Right. So we're, wanting you to be able to help parents when you graduate. So what we're doing during those live sessions, which are monthly, is the questions. There's a few things that happen during those live sessions. First of all, if there's a theme that looks like it's difficult for a lot of the people who did their homework assignments and similar questions are coming up, I will discuss that theme within the live scenario, even though every other question, there could be 100 questions that came up in that module, that collection of modules for the month, they're all answered, okay? And then there's the ones that are seem to be difficult for everybody, then I'm going to discuss that before we get to the practice part of the live session. So we're discussing it. Then I'm also picking out discussion questions, meaning not just that came in from you guys, but that are examples of what will come up when a client comes to see you. What kinds of questions come? I'll bring cases from my own cases that I'm working with every week. This happened, that happened, and we'll put it out in the live session for all of you to discuss and to come up with your thoughts and your reactions and your advice and how you would proceed so that we're using the material that we're learning. Then in the practice session, part of the live session, you will pair up with another classmate And you will counsel each other, doing a question. Well, I'll take a scenario again from my private practice, something that came in. One of you will be the parent, the other will be the parenting coach, and you will have a chance to act as a parenting coach, and then you'll switch roles. So whoever was the parent is now going to be the parenting coach, and the other one will be the parent. So we have actual practice times. Plus, if people want more practice times, beyond what happens there, we have arranged that in the past also, so that people can get together outside of that. There's all sorts of flexibility to meet your desires, your needs, whatever you need to feel that I've got it, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. That you have to graduate with that feeling, like, okay, I'm ready. Ask me anything. That's basically what we want you to graduate with.
Exactly. And I see so many questions, so we're going to do our best to get all of them answered. Is there homework in addition to the monthly quizzes? Yes. The monthly quiz is a simple, 10 question, just again, to kind of make sure that you're understanding the information. The homework is a summary of of each module that you're taking. So again, it's really all helping you through the processing, all of the information to make sure that you've got all of the information down and that you're understanding the essential parts of what Sarah Chana is teaching and her methodologies. So I know, as Sarah Chana said, she doesn't send back everybody's homework marked up, with smiley faces and red checks, but she goes through every single homework. And if something is standing out, seems like this person is not understanding the right way, or they're still having the same questions, we're in month 3 and they still seem to be stuck on this one philosophy, or it seems like maybe it's not just that they're stuck on that, or it's not meshing, or they're taking a lot of maybe some of the personal aspects of their lives and their parenting into account rather than coming at it from an objective point of view, how I'm going to help other parents in their parenting. We discuss it, we talk about it, and we make sure that each person is really coming out of this understanding and able to, in the best of their ability, be the parenting coach that people are going to be coming for. When you are a certified parenting coach with the Radcliffe Academy, we are not ICF accredited. ICF accredited coach training programs, as that would make our program, anywhere between $8,000 to $12,000 for tuition. We've decided to make it a program that is financially more accessible and less of a financial burden. So when you graduate, you do become a Radcliffe parenting coach, certified through Sarah Chana's Academy. You will get a certification. It is recognized as any other certification is. And it is based on being able to use and teach and coach Sarah Chana's methodologies. So,
here, Jillian, I want to add one more thing. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the question about how much time, there's this hour module each week. So you're going to need to find that hour. Then there's this little quiz. I don't know, 10 minutes on the quiz. It's really a very basic thing. But then there's your summary of the homework. And this is because we don't know if you watched that thing or if you watched it while you were sleeping or taking care of the kids or washing dishes or watched it with one eye closed. We need to know that you know this material because this is a certification course. So there is this write-up of the main points that you got out of that module that we're looking for. And so that's a 20-minute minimum extra thing. So that's 1 hour to listen, maybe 10 minutes for your test, and maybe 20 minutes. Or if you want to do more, you can. It could take you 40 or 45 minutes, but it's going to take at least 20 minutes to put in writing what you got out of that hour-long module. Even if it's just point form, we're not looking for fancy essays. Just like, here's what we would do for this kid, who's not listening. This is what Sarah Chana said, point A, point B, point C, whatever it is, that the material. So that's an hour and a half commitment per week for anybody who really wants to know how much. It's a minimum, an hour and a half. It could be an hour and 3/4 or something if you wanted to explain for yourself, because some people like to right for their own purposes, right? But for our purposes, I'm sure 20 minutes would cover it. So I just wanted to clarify that in terms of your commitment per week.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
In addition to the 9 months of modules, plus, as we mentioned, the live forum, plus the live monthly sessions with Sarah Chana, we are also, Nechama had just mentioned, we're also including a full resource library to continue your education um, and professional development by gaining the full library of Jewish Workshop series with Sarah Chana. It includes approximately 30 series that Sarah Chana has presented already, which will, again, not only help you personally in your parenting journey, but really help you professionally learn all of the different methodologies in a way that is presented not just as a training, but presented as ways to help and improve parenting skills. So you will have access to that. And again, as Nechama mentioned, probably not something you're going to get throughout the whole 9 months, but this is a resource that you will have for a lifetime. Once you register and become a student, you will have this resource library available to you, and you can access it at any time that is convenient. In addition to that, we also have at the end, a live webinar on business mentorship. Join a live webinar with Sarah Chana and myself to guide you on how to launch your coaching business, open a private practice, or get more clients in an already existing practice. And there, we just held ours for Cohort 2 about a month ago. And people just had really wonderful questions. Again, there are some people who already have practices, some people who are trying to start a practice, and some people who are really interested in coming at it from an educational point of view, wanting to start webinars, wanting to, get the information out there. As again, Nechama mentioned earlier, she uses it not just as an occupational therapist, she also is a parenting coach, and she does webinars. So she has the ability to bring in so many different channels of revenue and really get her education out there. So it's a beautiful thing. It is something that we will go over in this business. It's a 2-hour business class. Where we will really touch upon different skills and ways that you can start building and expanding your practice. So again, just to make sure that everybody has it all down here, 9 months of weekly recorded modules. You will, at the very end, gain certification. We do have 2 tracks, which I'll show you in just a minute. You do have an option of taking a track without certification if that is not of interest to you. Of course, the certification track does, allow you, again, to have that certification in order to run with it and, like I said, use that towards your business advantage. Monthly live group mentorship sessions with Sarah Chana, and then for the certification track, you will also get the full resource library plus the business training as well. So again, most importantly, really by investing in yourself, this is your opportunity to be your own boss, create your own schedule, coach clients from anywhere, anytime, doing work that you love, creating financial freedom for you and your family, being the leader in your community. We talked a lot about on the business class itself, we talk a lot about how to reach out to your community and use those resources in order to get your name out there. One of our first questions was from somebody who is an introvert and worried about word of mouth and not being able to use that as her only advantage, and really delving into community resources, shuls, women's groups, parenting groups, schools. There are so many places to go, especially in our beautifully created, close-knit communities. There are so many places to go to be able to help build yourself and build your business. I know one of our recent graduates is working very closely with a school in her community, and she is the go-to person when people come and are looking for help with parenting. And she is that go-to person in the community, which is really, really amazing. And again, of course, I think I saw somebody put into the question box right now, does it help improve your own parenting? And it absolutely does. It will help you transform your own home and your relationship with your own kids as well. So let me get to the important part here too, because people are asking, what is the cost? And of course, investing in yourself and investing in your family and investing in your career and your future and in your ambition, there is a cost to it. There is an investment financially as well. But before I go ahead and share that link with you, we have discounted it for 48 hours to $3,997 for the basic track, which does include the 9 months of modules, the outlines, quizzes, homework, membership in Sarah Chana's community forum, plus those live Q&A sessions and implementation sessions. And for the platinum package, it is everything just mentioned in basic, plus you'll also get the actual certification. You'll have the resource library, which is really invaluable, and you'll also get the business mentorship. I will give you the link right here in the chat box, jewishworkshops.com/SCR Academy. Let me make sure I can get that. Hannah, if you're still here, can you please put that in? Otherwise, I can go ahead and stick that in there, www.jewishworkshops.com/SCR Academy. Please feel free to open up another browser. Stick with us here. Just open up a browser and grab your spot. If you have any questions or need help, please just come on back and let us know. Put your name, your telephone number. Baruch Hashem, it looks like Hannah and Sephora are still here with us on the line. They are happy to give you a call after today's session to help you register if you need help registering, if you have any questions. There are absolutely payment plan, monthly installment options available. You do not have to put all of the money down today. So you can still grab your spot and pick a payment plan that best fits your needs. If you don't see a payment plan that works for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. We don't want finances to stand in the way, but we do want you to obviously understand that the investment is worth every penny. And I know, Sarah Chana, again, that is something that comes up in every one of our open houses. And if you want to just talk a little bit about why, people say, why is the certification track a little bit more expensive? And is it really something that I need that certificate for? And so if we could talk a little bit about that, and then again, I will get to even more questions coming up.
Yes. I just want to know, because I can't see it on my screen, maybe you have it on your screen there, but what is the cost after the 48 hours for the basic and for the...
After 48 hours, the basic goes to $4,997 and the platinum goes to $6,997.
Okay. So it's $1,000 off today for...
It's $1,000 off today for the first 5 people. For the next 48 hours, it's still $1,000 off the actual price of the program.
$2,000 off for the first 5 people, really, and $1,000 off for all of our listeners within the next 48 hours.
Correct.
Amazing. Yes. So the certification... it depends what you want to do with this. If you would like to become a more professional parent and be a resource for your sisters, sister-in-laws, family, friends, neighbors on your block or whatever, without charging them money, this is the person who knows, then the basic course will give you so much knowledge. It is the basic course, right? But if you want to represent yourself as a person who has proven that she knows the material, right? So that's the thing with the certification. There's an examination. There's an obligation to have attended all of the lives live, those are the one thing that you'll have to make room in your schedule for once a month, okay? There's a stronger commitment there to prove that you know your material. And so when you say, well, I've got a degree or a license, I've been tested, I'm certified, and you're holding that up and you're saying, you're going into a hospital in the children's department, you're saying, perhaps you guys need a parenting coach to help the parents who are going through stress here. I would like to deal, my niche is dealing with parents who have unwell children, and I'm giving a course, or I'd like to give a course. You could, here's my card, whatever. I'm a certified parenting coach, not I'm Mary Jane, whatever. I've read a few books and this is my interest. You're a true professional. Certification lifts that up, and we demand more of you to show that you are that professional. Otherwise, if you're just, how we read a parenting book and we don't get tested on it, we just read it and we use what we like from it. That's the basic course. But to give this material over to others, you really need to you need to show others that you accepted that testing upon you, really, that you know your material. That's what certification does. And there's a cost involved in making sure that you do know that material. So but it's very, very important for career development. So you don't want to, unless you really don't really care about the career development or the making money as a professional. Keep in mind, you want to charge a very professional rate. You're not going out there to say, I can help you if $10 and, whatever, what, you should be able to charge a very professional rate like other mental health professionals. So, now, I don't know what, I took 13 years of training to become, a licensed psychologist, like many, many years, thousands of dollars invested in required hours of supervision. Like, we're not really requiring the most of anything, but you'll find that any real professional designation can cost far, far more than we're maybe like 1 year's worth of what something would cost, in a 5-year program, a 10-year program, a 13-year program. Like, they cost money. So when we look at what we're creating here, it just isn't unreasonable. It's not, as Jillian says, so much goes into this, so much time, so many hours, so many people, so many staff. It's a real thing for us to be there for you. So that's part of what goes into why we charge it, and what you can expect from certification, as opposed to just learning the material, which is wonderful, but does not take you to that extra level of professionalism. That's all, like that you can market yourself to your pediatrician and give him your business card and say, when your patients have problems with their kid not eating or behavior problems, whatever, you can send them to me. And on your card, you have your certification, initials and so on. So you're proving to all the colleagues and to the community of parents that you have, in certification, passed examination. That's what certification is. Otherwise, it's, what did you do? So, that's what lifts you up. Does that answer that question, Jillian?
Yeah, thank you. Somebody else actually just wrote in, I'm interested in knowing that graduates will be respected as professionals, and it's not something that anyone can do and just pass because they tried. And I think it's a great point. It happens to be, Baruch Hashem, everyone who has taken our certification track and taken the final exam has passed the final exam, but that's not because, again, we kind of turn a blind eye and we want to make sure everyone passes. This is Sarah Chana's name on the line and her reputation, and it is all taken very seriously and very professionally, as from us as the ones delivering the program, and from everyone who has attended. Not only, again, has it been and is it a financial investment, but it's also a time investment, and it's a career investment for people. Nobody has come and taken the full program and actually invested all of the time and energy that it takes. Nobody's come and taken that and kind of walked away thinking like, oh, well, that was fun. Hopefully they have fun in the journey, but it was certainly, it was taken seriously, as a student, and it's taken very, very seriously from our side as, the people delivering the program and actually offering that certification. And again, Sarah Chana, if you want to touch upon that a little bit.
Touch upon that. That is something, as you said, my name is on the line there. I'm not trying to send out people who don't know what they're doing. Oh, a Radcliffe coach was, that's garbage. That would be the worst thing in the world for me. And I think the people who've attended my lives would attest to the fact that, I'm constantly stressing the professional aspect of this and the importance of knowing your material. Okay, this is something, a theme that I do not accept people just sitting there. And when I can tell, when I ask a simple question, 4 units in, and people can't answer, I start giving them what for, because like that means to me they've been listening with half an ear. It is not satisfactory. That's very important that they be able to answer easily because they have to teach other people. It is a theme I'm very serious about. And there's a lot of detailed information to know. Everybody can read my book themselves. They don't have to, they don't have to call a parenting coach. Just read the book. But the thing is, reading the book is not enough for parents who have complex issues with their children. And you as a parenting coach have to be able to do the necessary extra steps. So it isn't a game. You won't make any money. And this is something I'm stressing. Like I could send you out, go, okay, you passed. Okay, get your first client. And that'll be your last client if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, I went to her. She charged $200 and she didn't tell me anything. Like, that's not really going to work for you. Okay. It's like you really do have to know this material. We take it really seriously and we want you to really be helpful. So it does require, when you take this on, if you're thinking of doing it, that you have the intention to apply yourself to it. Because I would say this is not for somebody who's so busy and just wants to get a little initial after their name. Because what does that mean? Like you won't be able to help anybody. A little scribble on a piece of paper, a little certificate on your wall does not make you competent to get that parent able to help that child to do whatever it is that child needs to do to start, so you need the competency, and that is what we're after in our course, and we take it extremely seriously. And throughout the course, I'm saying, you'll make your money only if you know this material. Okay. And if you don't know it, that's not what's the game. You will not have any word of mouth. A little bit of failure right at the beginning of a person's practice is enough to shut down their practice. Okay. Success is required. So, that's what we're after here. And we take it very seriously. And if you want to do this, you should take it seriously as well. So that's what I'd say about that.
Thank you so much. I do want to just say welcome. We have 2 new members. So welcome to our very first 2. And let me see. I don't want to say your names yet because in case you don't. But so if you just want to come on back and let me and put your names and the words I'm in so that I know that it's okay if I mention you by name. Come on back and let me know. And if you've registered on your own, I saw 2 come on in, but I didn't get the names confirmed. So if you could let me know, that would be great. And I also have somebody else, another one of our previous cohort graduates, because I know that people had been asking to hear from actual graduates. So Sarah is here with us, and I want to open up her camera right now. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate all of your time, and I know you've been hanging on here with us. So I'm going to also try to unmute you here. There we go. Thank you for being here.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it was funny because I was listening to everything you were saying that you're going to be doing, and I'm saying, yes, we did that, we did that, we did that. It was amazing. I just would love to share with you that all the years from when my kids were really small, I'm always trying to learn the right way to parent. And still, there was so much doubt and confusion. Like we all know about unconditional love today. And still, there's so many issues you don't know what to do about, and guilt and everything else. So, firstly, the course for me over the 9 months, it cleared away the cobwebs, gave me back my confidence, it gave me clarity. Practical, very, very usable tools, and they ring true because they're all Torah based. And for me, the best part of it is that it's such a perfect balance of being a loving parent together with setting proper boundaries. Okay, because it gives us the ability to do what we're supposed to do, most important of all, to educate our children with love. And the second part is that since I am already practicing, there's nothing like the satisfaction in truly helping others in this, what I believe to be the most important task for us. I mean, it's years that we're involved in this. And even for my kids that have grown up and left the house, what I've learned is enhancing my relationship with them. Each of them taught me to let go when I need to step in when it is appropriate in a really good and helpful way. And I'm so grateful for this. It's like changed my life totally in every way. Not only with my kids, but with people around me, because all of the skills are also relationship skills. And it helps me be a better role model in what I want to be.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah,
And
my pleasure.
how did you find the time commitment? I know, again, people have been asking about that.
So it definitely, the more you invest, the more you're going to get out of it. So the time commitment is important. It was a lot of work, but I do think that having done the platinum course kind of forced me to do the work and to actually internalize it, because I don't believe that just reading it or learning it without actually writing up about it, doing my homework, coming back, being tested, and the live sessions as well, taking them apart, together in the session is what really made it come live and come together. It was fantastic.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here and sharing that. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in real quick. Thank you so much, Sarah. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'll always be grateful.
Oh, thank you. Okay, it looks like there are some additional questions coming in. Somebody just asked if we join now at the basic level, can we upgrade later on to platinum if we can't decide right now if the certification track is the one for us? So yes, absolutely. The qualifications to get your certification are a little bit more than just taking the basic track. So again, if you are up to date with turning in all of your homework, if you are attending the live classes, we've made the live classes Thursdays. I know, again, somebody was asking. You can find all this information at jewishworkshops.com/SCR Academy, one word. So if you, again, have any questions about when things are happening, dates and times, and so all of the live and interactive sessions with Sarah Chana, which meet once a month, they're all on Thursdays at 3:10 to 5:10 p.m. Eastern time. And we say that you have to attend approximately 80% of those live. If you are, if there's something that happens, something comes up in your life that you absolutely can't attend, then you can have those other two listened to on your own time. But again, you would still have to send in a summary just to make sure that we know that you've seen it, listened to it, and understand all of the information that was gone over in those live sessions. But as long as you're up to date with your homework and your attendance for your live sessions, then you can upgrade to platinum later on in your journey. And I would really I will also say with the live sessions, we give you all 9 live sessions, the dates and the times up front right now. So I saw somebody else say that, as a high school principal, can't make it from 3 to 5 on a Thursday afternoon once school starts. And again, there's no judgment. So I know that people have busy schedules, but you do have those classes and the dates and the times and everything up front. So if there is a way for you to be able to schedule out months in advance that one Thursday in that 1 month, for 2 hours, you won't be able to do carpool, or you won't be able to, be available to other clients, or you won't be able to be, at your job, or whatever the case may be. If you can find that flexibility in your schedule, I would highly, highly recommend, going for it and jumping on this opportunity. People are asking also when the next cohort is. Please God, we should have cohort 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and many, many, many more, so that really there are Radcliffe Academy parenting experts and coaches all over the world. So many to, fill this void and fill the need in all of our communities. But really there is no set date for another cohort. And again, please God, we should have so much, success and time, and Sarah Chana here with us forever and ever. But if you're considering this, if this is something that you're taking seriously, if this is something that will change your life, I would jump on the opportunity now. we've put a lot of ourselves into it. Certainly, Sarah Chana has put a lot of her blood, sweat, and tears into it. And we would love to be able to be here to support you through this cohort and not, push off an opportunity and in hopes that there is, something else coming up in the future. There are so many more questions that I would love to also answer. Sarah Chana, I don't know if you saw anything here, but I will be happy to get to more questions.
More questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The classes, can we watch them anytime? Yes. As I mentioned, each of the modules that are offered and sent out each week to your membership area and to your email, they come out every Monday. And by the next Monday, you need to have already, watched that module and completed your homework assignment for that week. So they're sent every Monday. You have a full week to, at any time, listen, re-listen, take care of your homework and your quiz, and, be on to the next module by the week after that.
I just want to say something here, Jillian. If somebody's taking the basic course, so they don't need the certification, they can watch those lives, at any time as well, because they're pre-recorded. They're not pre-recorded, they're recorded for watching after. But if somebody is wanting the certification, those lives, as Sarah was saying, are really important to show up to and to participate in and to really make it live for yourself, because that's where we're having our practice sessions and that's where we're really interacting. That's where all the theoretical stuff that you learned in the modules is coming to life with discussions, with case histories that we're applying, that we're trying to solve problems, that we're learning how to do it. So that one commitment once a month is important to be able to take on here. So it's just realistically, if you want certification. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, Hannah, for correcting me. Homework is due by Sunday so that you're ready for the next module that comes out on Monday.
Yeah.
And yes.
And we're strict about all that. We don't want people, like falling behind and whatever. Yeah.
Correct. And we all, and again, it's a professional course. So while we have our engagement coordinator, Samantha, on all of the correspondence back and forth, and Hannah and Sapora will be there to, of course, also support you, and Sarah Chana will be there with you all the live classes. We also don't want to, create a babysitter type of relationship. So if you're missing something or if you've fallen behind, happy to help and remind you, and once or twice. But again, correct. Like things come out very regularly. Things are scheduled very regularly. And if you're not able to keep up, then, we just expect some back and forth communication so that we know where you're standing there. What is the typical rate your graduates charge? Not sure if we have that information. I don't know. I think Sarah Chana was just mentioning, certainly charge a professional rate, but I'll give that one to you, Sarah Chana.
Yeah. So, when a psychologist graduates after their many, many decades and their PhD and their board examinations or whatever it is, they're going to charge a couple of $100 depending on where they work. I have colleagues who've been working 20 years who are charging $200 an hour in Canadian. I don't know what the US is. Depends which city you live in and, what the going rate is in your city. That's a psychologist, okay? So sometimes I found that life coaches take a 6-week course or something sometimes, or a 6-month course, or sometimes a weekend course. And they go out there with their business confidence and they go like, I'm going to charge $180, which, experience matters plus education, right? So I don't advise that people go out and charge the same thing as somebody who's spent decades, not just a Thursday a month, but decades getting themselves together or who have worked for decades or have 5 published books or something, Nonetheless, this is what I said, it's not a $25 thing either. So you'll see psychotherapists also, I'm going to talk Canadian funds, and you can translate this to wherever you are, $75 an hour, $100 an hour, $125 an hour, $150 an hour, maybe $175 an hour. Depends where you live, what your market will bear. but you will not charge the same as somebody who's been working 20 years, published 5 books, and has a PhD. Okay, that just doesn't make any sense. But soon, perhaps you will. Because if you have first of all, you're gathering experience and you have a niche that needs to be filled, like I said, all these things I mentioned before as niches, like it could be a certain kind of child that you're specializing in. And really, there's nobody like you who knows about this kind of thing with, you're top in your field. You can get there rather quickly, and then you can be charging the same thing that somebody with a PhD would have, because you might be much more knowledgeable about that particular area than that person, and the client will pay you if you have that real knowledge and competence. That's why the emphasis in this course is this competence, okay, that you should be worth a good professional rate. I would just say that this is not a joke course. Okay, it's not that you're just making people, I don't know, give away their money so you can pat them on the head or something. This is something of value. The other thing is, when you start your life circumstance, you might want to work an hour a week. If you're doing private practice, you can work an hour a week. You can work an hour a day. You can work part-time, half-time, three-quarters time. And then move that into full-time, more than full-time. You can do whatever you want. It's a very flexible career. And we said before, working for yourself, working for agencies in addition to for yourself, or just being hired in a certain setting, doing this particular work. So there's so much, writing, making videos, making parenting videos, making your money on YouTube. Like, it depends on where your creative genius lies and where what you're interested in. But there's no end to what you could do. So with nothing except the skills and a shy personality, you can start off with a career. But if you have like a bunch of creativity and maybe you're a real out there person and you love marketing, you love the business, boom, right there you go, right out the gate, So it depends on you, but it's always going to be good. Like the shape of it, the style of it will depend on your style, but it's going to be good no matter what you do. And we provide afterwards, after you've graduated, ongoing supervision and help in launching and in supervising the cases you're on, so that your competency still continues to grow. If you would like that as an option, we provide that too, so that you will have a value that you can charge, and people come to you because of what you can do. So that's what we're looking at.
Thank you so much. You actually just answered the next question about supervision opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So that was perfect. There will be, as Sarah Chana mentioned, supervision opportunities at the completion of the 9-month course. And when does it start? I think that I actually failed to mention that, so I'm sorry. Your first module will come out already Monday, the 23rd. So we have 1 week until we all get started. And I also just want to mention, welcome to our third new member. I'm still not getting confirmation on names, so I don't want to mention anyone if you prefer to remain anonymous, but welcome. We are so excited. We are building up a beautiful new cohort here. If you have questions that you still need help with answering, if you'd like Hannah or Tzipora to go over any additional details, please just come and put your name and your telephone number right here into the chat box. Again, if you need a little bit more time, the next 48 hours, you still get to take advantage of the discounted rate of $3,997 for basic and $5,997 for platinum. So if you need a little bit more, and if there are any additional questions that I'm missing here, because we had so many come in, please just come on back and let me know. You can shoot another question right here into the chat. I think we've covered everything, but let me just go back through here and make sure. Sarah Chana, there was one other thing I think that, sorry, I'm going to come back here, that came in ahead of time. Why would a client choose to come to a parenting coach over a licensed therapist, especially when therapy is so popular lately?
Two completely different professions. If you have a problem in parenting, your licensed therapist has no training in parenting. So part of what we need to do, of course, is, and some of you graduates, may start a body of parenting professionals, because to, that could fit into the board of psychotherapists and psychologists and social workers. Parenting is its own field. Social workers don't study parenting. So your psychotherapist, whether that's a nurse, a social worker, a registered psychotherapist, a counselor, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, have no training in parenting. So if you have a parenting problem, and this will be part of your advertisement, you put just what I said there in your ad, your professional person that you're asking this question to doesn't know, okay? But you as a parenting coach do know. That's what you've studied. So yeah, psychotherapy is a completely different field, looking at stress management. Some relationship issues are, covered, but nothing about parenting, meaning those problems I mentioned at the beginning, how we get a kid to do his homework, go to bed, get out of bed, stop tormenting his siblings, stop yelling at you or calling you names, stop biting, whatever they're doing. That is its own field. And just because you trained as a psychologist or psychotherapist does not mean you have any way to answer those questions knowledgeably. You just wing it. So yeah, you're going to. That's why this is a brand new field where you can be part of the education to the consumer that, these professionals, including your pediatrician, they actually don't have the qualifications that you have to answer these questions. All right, Jillian, I'm going to have to go. So I hope that you're going to stay on the line with everybody who's still deciding. But I would urge all of you, please decide now and join us. I think that if you have, even a little voice inside yourself saying, come on, make a career, maybe for not now, maybe it's going to be for later, study now, plant the seed for your career. I believe that, there comes a time when our own children grow up, and they move on and they have their lives and their careers. And if you've started, even as a young mother, started to study this, and yes, it helps you raise your kids and maybe helps your neighbors and your family members, like I said, but planting that professional stream in your own life, and you'll see that later there will come a time when it can blossom. For me, I did a lot of writing before I just wrote for, different little publications or whatever it is about parenting long before I ever started seeing clients. But by the time I wanted to see a client, I had a reputation, like a name, and people knew me from this writing. So I wasn't ready. I was busy with my own kids at a certain point in my own life. I couldn't start this private practice. I think I had a job. I thought whatever. I was doing different things. So you don't have to graduate and open your practice right away. You can graduate and continue your development so that when it comes time for you to have your career, you already have it in your pocket. Okay, so, it may not be that you want to start working this month. It may be 20 years from now, but I would really invite you to join me now when I can be available with this because, our world is unstable. We're here together now, and I'd love to work with you now. So I hope to see you there. And Jillian, I'm going to sign off for now.
Thank you so much, Sarah Chana. Thank you for being here with us. We will keep the chat open for just another few minutes. If anyone still has any questions regarding course details, if you are ready to commit but just want a few more questions answered, please make sure to put your name and your telephone number right here into the chat. Hannah and Sephora, Baruch Hashem, they are available and they will call you as soon as we log off here. But of course, we can't reach out to you if we don't have your number. Like I said, I will leave this open for another few minutes and we will be happy to answer any additional questions that come in. Otherwise, you can also always reach out to Jewish Workshops at jewishworkshops.com. I'll put that also in the chat if you want to reach out via email. And we are happy to help get registered and looking forward to seeing as many new faces on this next cohort as possible. Thank you so much for spending your time here with us today. And please, God, let everything calm down in our world, throughout our nation, and really everybody in Eretz Yisrael. We are davening, and stay safe. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day and night.